look out onto the circuit and I notice that nearly everybody has said, right, slick tyres it is then. They saw the lap times from Jaime Sanz and thought, right, it's okay. We can go slicks now. It's going to be tough, but we can do slick tyres. It's about ready. Danny Catanini on pole from Hugo Besson. Finn McLaughlin and Sebastian Hedin from Dan Steenman and Sam Shaw. Daniel Mathia and Paul Cayos after Poulain and Louis Johnston-Cool. Oliver Veit and Ruben Moya from Eliska Babichkova and Eric Genet. Santiago da Costa and Adrian Mustienis. Sita Van Meert is alongside Eduardo Villa. Then Charles Roussin and Alberto Paul. Matteo Quinterelli and Angus Mulsdale. Nick Ho and Nathan Joliet. And then it'll be Hugo Jalard, Luna Claret and Juan Aluja. There is Adrian Mustienis for the Kids to Win team. Walking away. That's a miserable start to his day. Look, you can see there are still massive damp patches on the circuit out of the final turn, so it's going to be a tricky race whatever happens. Are we racing? Yes, we are. Good start from Carinini, but he runs wide in turn one, manages to get it back to the racing line. Driver's still trying to cope with the grip. It's very tricky, but Carinini leads, and it's Finn McLaughlin who has come through to second place. What a start there from the Irishman. He's doing an excellent job, Finn McLaughlin, as he works his way through. They tuck around in the hairpin, doing their very best to try and make up some places. In third place, that is Dan Steenman, the Dutchman. Steenman was amazing yesterday, looking likely to be again today. He really is coping. Oh, 5 karts have gone off at the hairpin. 5 karts have gone off together there at turn 5. They all managed to recover, but they kind of synchronized span their way through the hairpin there. 5 karts involved in that one, 2 of them scampering away. That's Julian Kuch, and the 237 involved as well is Juan Aluya. So basically the 5 karts that run at the back of the field are going to be the 5 involved in that incident. But Danny Carinini, the winner of the World Finals last year, is your man out in front. Finn McLaughlin has lost a couple of positions by the look of it, as that is one of the KR Sport drivers going through. That's Sebastian Hedin, the Swede. As up at a second now has come Daniel Mathia. So Mathia has made a big progress. What happened to Dan Steenman? I think McLaughlin and Steenman had a moment together on the opening lap. And when we had 5 karts going off there in the first lap, we were watching that. But I think McLaughlin and Steenman must have had a moment further along the road, as they are now down in 4th and 5th, and they were 2nd and 3rd. So Mathia is through to 2nd. Hedin is through to 3rd. And now McLaughlin is trying his best to get on terms with the Swedish driver. There's an off at turn 4. Couple of drivers going wide there. It looks as though we've got 2 or 3 karts off the road on the exit of turn 4, I'm afraid. So who is it that's not come through? Gabriel Nicolay is one of them. So Gabriel Nicolay appears to be out of the road. Oh, there's a wheel in the middle of the road. My goodness. They come through the course and there's just a rogue wheel in the center of the racetrack. My goodness, what a moment that is for the drivers at speed. But it looks as though everybody got away from it. Well, that one's, there is the 283, so that's the one that's missing a wheel. That is Gabriel Nicolay. But I think there was one more kart there as well out of the race. So we lost Adrian Mustienis before the race even got started, and I think there's 2 karts out of the race at turn 4. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days at the Zuera. Looks as though the racing's already pretty hectic and frenetic from the get-go. I did say it was going to be drama aplenty. Danny Carinini leading from Mathia, Hedin, McLaughlin, Steenman, Shaw, Moya, Besson, Poulain and Paul Cayos in the top 10. Now the kart who went off the road with Gabriel Nicolay, I think has actually managed to get going again. So I think it might just be Nicolay on his own, as McLaughlin trying his best to get back on terms with Sebastian Hedin, as Daniel Mathia closes up on Carinini. Here goes McLaughlin. There's not a lot of grip when you come offline. He tried his best there, but there just wasn't enough grip to storm on the inside line. On the wet tyres you could make that move, but on the dries you're going to have to wait a couple of laps. So the drivers still working their way through. Looks as though Matteo Quintarelli has come off the road. Matteo Quintarelli for the George Gibbons Motorsport team, I'm afraid, is out of the race as he goes off at turn 6. There goes Steenman making his move on McLaughlin. He can't get there. But look at how quickly Daniel Mathia is catching Danny Carinini. Dan Steenman sets the fastest lap in P5, trying to make progress. But Danny Carinini in front of Mathia. Mathia tapping his helmet, trying to get Carinini to play the game out in front. Let's stretch away from these guys. He's trying to lull him into a false sense of security. But Carinini is far too smart for that. Look, He's trying to gesture to Mathia, don't overtake me. Let's get clear of the rest of the field. I doubt that Mathia is going to play ball. He wants to lead, and in conditions like this, it's not so easy to make a big deal of the sprint out front. So Carinini, Mathia, now we're starting to get some proper dry running. You can see that Hedin, McLaughlin and Steenman are able to work together to close up on the two karts in front. It's going to be one of those days, I think. Alberto Paul has not come through at the end of the lap, so I wonder if Alberto Paul has had a moment. Looks as though the Frenchman... Oh, yes, there is a kart parked up at turn 1, so I think Alberto Paul is out of the race. Up the inside comes Mathia to take the lead from Carinini. Hedin goes through as well. So Mathia takes the lead. Hedin in second. Carinini down to third. So that's the first big shake-up of this particular heat. Danny Carinini down in third position. Mathia, Hedin, the Italian Danny Carinini, and then it is Steenman in front of McLaughlin. He did make the move in the end. Sam Shaw is in P6. Then it is Ruben Moya, the Spaniard, running on the Pantano chassis, brand new for 2022. Then Paul Cayos, Arthur Poulain, and it looks to me as though in 10th position, that is Eduardo Villa. Is Hedin going to get his run on Daniel Mathia? We've had one lead change in this lap. Are we going to get a second? Because the Swede is all over the back. And these are the kind of conditions that Sebastian Hedin relishes in. This is regular Scandinavian-style weather for him. Down the main straight. And Sebastian Hedin is putting a lot of pressure on Mathia. Here comes Steenman on the inside of Carinini. Thanks, mate. I'm going to get third position. And now Hedin is having a look at Mathia. See, Mathia has the track knowledge. Hedin has the temperature knowledge. So this is going to be an interesting duel between these two. Daniel Mathia will be used to a lot hotter conditions than this. Hedin, this is absolutely his territory. Similar for Dan Steenman in third position. But Carinini running in fourth. He's doing a grand job, actually. Ever since he won the world final last year at Adria, he has been absolutely on it, Danny Carinini. Here comes McLaughlin, though, on the inside. Put a feather in your cap and take that back to Ireland. I just got past the world final winner. There is no World Championship for IAME X30, but they affectionately refer to the World Finals as the World Championship for IAME X30 drivers. And that's a real feather in the cap for Finn McLaughlin. He just got past the senior winner last year. A nice move for the Irishman. It looks as though he has permanently got himself to the front end of the Senior X30 field in only his second attempt. He was at the Winter Cup in Valencia, and here he is at Zuera, and he looks perfectly comfortable. So Mathia, Hedin and Steenman have got well clear of the drivers behind. So for the moment, these three are going to be the ones that will contest the victory. Hedin looks like he's got a run. Here he goes on the inside of Mathia. Steenman's trying to make the gap come open as well, and they both get by. Excellent, excellent work. Hedin is your leader. Steenman now second. Mathia down to third. Paul Cayos is up into P6 and with the fastest lap of the race as well. And we're into the 105s. That shows you how much quicker the circuit is now on slick tyres. We've gained 10 seconds in lap time pace in one heat. That shows you how much quicker the track is. So Hedin runs a little wide. Oh, Steenman's going to get his run. He gets there. Mathia almost lost it on the curbs on the way through as well. But he manages to catch the car, and now McLaughlin is going to absolutely eat up the gap from these three. And there'll be 2 laps to go. What can the Irishman do? He comes across the line again, and it's going to be a quartet racing for the win. Behind them, Paul Cayos has crept up into 5th place. So a great run from the Spanish driver, who is up into P5. But it's these 4 that will contest the win. Steenman, Hedin. Then it is, Mathia. Mathia comes through in a second. Mathia gets his run on Sebastian Hedin. And Finn McLaughlin is going with them. No overtaking move needed yet. You've got to get these 3 onto the back bumper of Dan Steenman, who is your leader once again. It's been a long time coming for Dan Steenman to try and get this win. Oh, and on the inside, Hedin's going to make his bid. They bang wheels, and McLaughlin picks off at least one. Can he get both? Round the outside. He holds it to Hedin. McLaughlin has to bail out of it. And he's let Paul Cayos come through into 3rd position. Mathia has backed down into 4th. So Paul Cayos is now suddenly in 3rd. This is heaven sent for PDB Racing and their man Dan Steenman. Steenman has got well clear as a result of this. This is exactly what he wanted. Look at the train piling up behind. A lot of drivers trying to make their bid to come through as Sita van Meert, I think, made the move for 8th place on Danny Catanini. So some great racing just in the tail end of the top 5. But Steenman has this one on a plate. What can Paul Cajos do to get back in on Sebastian Hedin? They come off the hairpin. Matthews trying to shake off McLaughlin. And there is Eduardo Vila in 6th position. Hedin shakes off Cajos. Cajos round the outside. Can he hold it? No, there's not enough grip. So Cajos has to back down into 3rd. McLaughlin there in P4. 5th place Matthews. 6th place Vila. Who's going to get the move? McLaughlin dives in on the inside. Can he get them both? He tries again. This time he gets out. Hedin over the back. Hedin and McLaughlin go off. Oh, so unfortunate. On the last lap, they just tangle. McLaughlin recovers, but it's all come to nothing. And Dan Steenman is going to be left on his own for the victory. A great run from the Dutchman. Dan Steenman gets the win in brilliant style. Paul Cajos is 2nd. 3rd is going to be Eduardo Vila. No, it's Matthew from Vila. And Sita van Meert in P5. Great racing. Epic stuff in Senior X30. This day just gets better and better. On a drying track in cold conditions, it's about who races smart as well as who races hard. And Dan Steenman was the coolest customer of them all out there. Amazing. Absolutely terrific. And the Dutchman for PDB Racing gives them their first win of the season. That's Chalk Up 1 for Dan Steenman in the qualifying heat D versus E at Zuera. Terrific job. That really was a sensible and mature drive from Dan Steenman. He could sense where the gap was going to open up. He knew when to make the overtake, and he let the rest of the drivers squabble amongst themselves. Epic job. So he comes in at cruise control. Dan Steenman picks up the win in front of Paul Cajos and Daniel Mattia. Eduardo Vila in P4 ahead of Sita van Meert. A great recovery for her and an excellent drive. Ruben Moya in P6. Sam Shaw is 7th. Danny Catanini struggles home to 8th in the end. Arthur Poulain in 9th. What a comeback from Louis Johnston-Cool in P10. Hugo Besson really struggled for grip in that one. 11th place in front of Angus Mulsdale and Eliska Babachkova. Nick Ho ahead of Santiago da Costa. Charles Roussan, Adrian Maliero and Olivan Veit. In 19th place it is William Louis from the back of the grid. Sebastian Hedin and Finn McLaughlin after his off on the last lap. The two of those drivers coming together. Eric Genet and Federico Scalvini. Luna Claret, she was ahead of Johan Aluya. Hugo Jalad, Peter Stiller, Alejandro Huguet, Julian Koch and Philip Garner of Nigeria. Retirements, well, there were a few. Alberto Paul, Matteo Quintarelli and Gabriel Nicolai, as well as Adria Mustienes. Nathan Joliet and Sami Dari were unable even to take the start. Big drama. It's already kicking off here at Zuera. You've got a feel for Adria Mustienes. He didn't even get the chance to show what he could do. Bitterly, bitterly disappointing. And he will hopefully try and come back from that one as soon as humanly possible. 2 races in, and it's clear that slick tyres are the way to go. Everybody in the dummy grid for the next race has slick tyres on. And the man who goes off the front row is hoping to repeat his win from yesterday evening. Evan Gilter.